Hi everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Happy Easter to my Christian brothers and sisters. It's good to have you here. It is 4 p.m. So if there's someone that needs to be here that is not here, I think you should go and tell them to join now because we are live. We are ready to delve into the third session of the Cybersecurity and Privacy Law Playbook. Today we will be discussing on how we can stand out and get opportunities in this field. The past two sessions, we've been discussing how we can actually position ourselves in this field, cybersecurity and privacy, what we need to do, what courses we need to take, what certifications we need to to concern ourselves with, what skills. So today we are talking about how to stand out and get real life opportunities, talk of internships, talk of job opportunities. So it's good to have you all here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Let's, just like our culture is, let's comment in the chat box where you're joining us from. Just comment in the chat box. Are you joining from Sierra Leone or Ghana or Nigeria or Lagos, wherever in Nigeria you're joining us from, or outside Nigeria? My audience on LinkedIn, on YouTube, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are happy to have you. We are happy to have you here. We are happy to have you here. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi, Miriam. It's good to have you here. She's a loyal attendee. Thank you for joining us. Miriam is from Kano. Hi, Darlington. Thank you for joining us. Good evening, Adekoya Toluwalashe. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Jose, thank you. I appreciate your kind word. Thank you. It's good to have you all here. Like I said, go and tell somebody that needs to be here to come and join the live session. We're about to start. I know everybody's trying to enjoy the Easter celebration, eating chicken and rice. But just briefly, we need to just meet and discuss cybersecurity and privacy law. So just like our culture is, we have three amazing speakers here. They will be sharing their experience, giving us their own acts, their own strategies. It's not easy to share things like that. They give us their acts, give us their strategies on how they are doing what they are doing, on how they've gotten the position they are currently occupying in their various organizations, how they have been able to put themselves out there, before people on LinkedIn, on X Space, wherever they can actually find themselves. So they will be explaining to us, taking us through their journey, one after the other. So it's good to have you here. To introduce our speakers to us, our first speaker, not like we are actually following numbers anyways, Oluwatosin Olajubo. She's a dedicated cybersecurity GRC professional with over 3 years expertise in areas such as management, ISO 27001, GDPR, PCI DSS compliance, privacy policy governance, and so on. She holds several professional certifications like ISO 27001, 2022 lead implementer and lead auditor. She currently serves as the cybersecurity risk analyst at Unilever PLC, and she's a mentor at Alcatel. So can you please make welcome Oluwatosin? Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time, and thank you for honoring my invitation. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Always a
Now the
pleasure.
next
Bye.
speaker is, yes, thank you. Thank you. So our next speaker is Bibitayo Emmanuel Ojo. He's a seasoned regulatory compliance analyst at Data Pro Limited. He has conducted comprehensive data protection reviews and compliance audits for companies like NGOs, fintech, health providers, etc. I mean, is all rounder. Just let us just try and tell us wherever industry he has definitely conducted one thing for them. It's good to have you here. He holds a data protection certificate from University of Lagos, supported by Meta. Thank you so much, Bibitayo. It's good to have you here. We
Thank you.
appreciate your expertise, and we are grateful that you're here to share with us. You're welcome. And
Thank you. I'm so
last but
glad to be
not the
here.
least, Rory Ovoje. Yes, thank you. So the last speaker, but not the least, is Rory of VJ. She's an aspiring business leader at the intersection of business, law, and technology, with a background in law and growing expertise in compliance, specifically Web3, data protection, and AI governance. She helps businesses navigate complex regulations while driving innovation. Now, through her work with Law Vest Magazine, an organization like Women in AI Governance, Rory actively contributes to knowledge sharing growth. That I can testify. Rory is everywhere. She's on Twitter, she's on LinkedIn, sharing her knowledge. I can actually attest to that. So thank you once again, Rory, for coming here. We are happy to have you. Thank you. Please let's celebrate our speakers. It's not easy. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for joining us. All right. So without further ado, we are today. Like I said, the discussion is about how we can stand out for opportunities in cybersecurity and privacy field. We've been discussing everything about privacy and cybersecurity, courses you can take, certifications, skills that you need, and everything you need to know about that. But now that we have the knowledge, we have the background, how do we now stand out for opportunities? Now, to our speakers, just by way of introduction, understand that all of us here, we are lawyers. So we would like to know, how do you find yourself in this field, cybersecurity, privacy, in this field, outside the traditional legal practice that we have in Nigeria? How are you able to find yourself?
Sorry, please, is it just me? I can't seem to hear Dario.
I have similar experience.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right. So I was saying that, by way of background, our audience like to know how you ventured into this field, away from the legal. How did you find yourself doing cybersecurity, privacy? So Tosin, please.
Okay, so thank you, Dario, for that question, and thank you for having me. And it's a pleasure to meet Bibi Tayo and Rory too on this platform.
It's a pleasure.
So, yes, getting into cybersecurity, I think for me, it's majorly been something of interest. I I don't think I really like to do something just limited in scope. So while in the university, I've always seen law as an opportunity. It's not the stop. It's not the end goal. It's only a stepping stone to so many other things I could explore. So seeing that being a lawyer is an added advantage for me to be anything else I want to be, right? And so But being Nigeria, there are no diversity in some of the courses. So at the point, by the time I was already, I think in 400 or 500, we discovered that there was a lecturer for cyber law. So I think that was the first time ever I was hearing anything on cyber, anything related to cyber. But because we were past the particular level, I couldn't take that. So moving on to my master's program in UI2, I was also looking for a course that was outside of okay everything, family law, IP. I just didn't want to do criminal or anything, right? So um, I ended up doing courses like international economic law. But during my thesis, I also I was just researching. Then I learned about AI. So I decided to focus my thesis on artificial intelligence, social liability in that. And I was really interested. Like it was so interesting for me because the knowledge I acquired, trying to get through that particular research because my supervisor was very thorough and someone who is also an expertise in that area. So from there, I had always been thinking that, okay, fine. I just want something that is not jurisdictional. Any country I get to, I have to sit for the bar exams before I can practice. So I want something that anywhere I get to, anywhere, God sends me to, I can still, you know, be relevant, contribute to the society, even while I'm studying for my bar exams if I decide to go that route. So at the time, I thought, okay, let me go into front end and back end engineering. I even got the scholarship at the point, but there was a time when it was just a day one of my colleagues, posted something. She was actually my bunkmate in law school, posted on a WhatsApp status, call for application for cyber safe. I think what really piqued my interest was the fact that I saw women in Africa. So I was like, "Ah, I like something, when it's like, oh, it's exclusive to women." And so that was how I got into cybersecurity, going through the training. And then I discovered that, oh, I really love this. I even had to write to the scholarship I already got for full stack engineering that, oh, I'm already in another program. Oh, I'm really sorry. Maybe later. Oh, but for now, let me focus on cybersecurity. And, like, it's really amazing because getting into cybersecurity has also widened my scope, widened my knowledge, and also seeing how relevant law has been. Like it's an added advantage for me. So basically, that's just the short summary of how I got into cybersecurity. So, with Cyber Safe Foundation,
Wow,
you know,
thank you. That's quite interesting. I love it when you said that. Thank you. Thank you. That's so interesting. I love it when you said that you saw law as a stepping stone. And that's just the truth. Some people see it as their final destination. Depending on what you want, it's not wrong. Depending on what you want or what you want to do, it's actually not wrong. So when you said it's a stepping stone for you, and you told me that you still went for that to go and do masters, I was like, are you sure this is a stepping stone? But
we're
your
still
story
moving
is quite
around, just
interesting.
trying to see
Let
where
me
we'll
tell you
land.
guys, let me just tell you this secret. Miss Tosin is actually a senior colleague of mine. We attended the same university. She's actually a senior colleague. And when she said that there was a lecturer for cyber law, I was like, maybe when in your own time. Because we that were behind you, we did not know that there was a lawyer, there was a teacher or lecturer for cyber security, cyber law. But anyways, it's so good to know that my learned senior is doing well. And it's a proud moment for us, junior and senior, on the same space and doing well. Thank you for sharing your story. So, Vivitayo, let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you so much once again for having me, Dio, and everyone. So I I broke into data protection in a non-conventional manner, right? I used to say that often. Yeah, right from time, I wasn't really interested in the conventional law practice. I remember I love litigation, trust me, I love litigation, but I felt like, and it's not that I just feel, right? So there is a nudging in my spirit. So for people that understand, so God bless you. So, but the most important thing was I wasn't interested in the conventional practice. So towards the end of my study in the uni, I was much interested in um, alternative dispute resolution. So I wanted to do something new. I went to do ODR in my project. I nearly died on that project because there were no materials. So but it came out well. Then my focus was okay, let's do something different online. Let's make use of technology. Let's bring technology into law. I was going to I was hoping to be the first person to launch ODR in Nigeria, but shortly before I finished my project, someone had already started it in Lagos. I was like, "Wow."
Oh,
So, and in law school, actually, for people that are close to me, I normally say this story. I got clarity while I was in law school. That was where
mm,
I was able to determine that I wanted to strike balance between law and technology. So then I started reading, started researching. I got to realize, okay, for me to break into cyber law. In fact, I think by around that time I was writing one article around tech law, legal tech. I was myself writing at that point. I was confused actually. But most importantly, I was able to ascertain what exactly I wanted to do. Technology
mm.
law. So I was reading about, in fact, I wrote one article on drone, the legal implication of using drone in Nigeria because I was just trying to find my feet in the space until I now came across counsel online that made me to realize that okay, for tech law, I may want to venture into data protection or privacy, cyber security, and intellectual property. I feel like intellectual property is not really going to cut it for me. So, and please, one thing that has been pushing me is I want to do something different. I want to do something that is new, and I wouldn't mind if it is technical. So that was what brought me to data protection, and I didn't just break into it. Like I said in my last speaking engagement, I was practicing in a property law firm while but before I even practiced in a property law firm, I was working with an NGO and then a litigation firm in the East. But I knew that that wasn't what I wanted to do for long. I left East the second day of my POP. I landed in Lagos to start the data protection course in Unilag. And anyway, maybe when we get to discuss some other things, I will talk about how such opportunity came my way because I was in a typical remote area in the east, and I still got that opportunity. And that was how I started learning about data protection. I was so curious actually, and another thing I love to say because a lot of people don't know how to transition into another space, especially where they didn't have opportunity to start from. So assuming I started in data protection, I might not even have this experience to share with you, but I started in a litigation and property law firm, and I was reading data protection. I was doing all sort of things in that space. When I am sure that um, I have to go for something bigger. That was when I now step into the space fully. So hopefully during the discussion, I'm going to share some other information that are relevant. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know. I just feel like clapping. I mean, I saw a lot of myself in Bibitayo's story. I saw a lot of myself. But the fact that Bibitayo said he was just writing and writing, I can personally attest to the fact that he loves writing. He's an astute writer and a researcher. And that's one thing I really do admire about him. And that's a thing about researchers. They know a lot of things and they meet a lot of things. So I appreciate that about you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I actually, like I said, I find myself in whatever you're saying right now, because at the moment I'm not in a cybersecurity firm per se or a data protection firm per se. I'm in a law firm where we do litigation, call litigation. Although I'm not in the property part of it, we do financial litigation, go to courts, you know, defend all those financial institutions, do maritime and all that, all like oil and gas and all that. That is what I do, but I still I'm calling myself a cybersecurity lawyer because that is actually what I'm interested in. I take courses, attend seminars, speak about it, basically. But that doesn't mean I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Probably till I'm able to find where I need to put my feet on, I'll keep doing what I need to do. So if there's anybody listening to us right now, don't feel you can't actually break into cybersecurity yet or data protection yet just because you are in the traditional law firm. Nothing should stop you from doing what you want to do. Keep at it. Keep acquiring that knowledge, keep acquiring that experience, keep speaking, keep advocating. One day you definitely have a need for all these things you're doing. All right, thank you so much. So Rory, let's hear from you.
Okay, good evening, everyone, or good morning, good afternoon. So I don't know if you can take me through the question again.
Okay, so the question is that you should tell us how you find yourself doing what you're doing. AI governance, privacy management, whatever you're doing right now outside
Okay,
the traditional law practice.
all right. So I graduated from OAU, Obafemi Awolowo University, and as a student there, I was a
Great
freelancer.
people.
Great. So as a student, I was a freelancer. I worked in fintechs, some Web3 startups, crypto apps, and rest. So I was already exposed to tech through content writing. Then when I started serving in 2023, I could not um, um, I could not take on clients as I used to because of network issue where I was, and I was working with foreign clients, and those guys, they have really high standards for the kind of jobs they accept. So I just paused to save my reputation. So in the course of that, I found the cybersecurity scholarship, cybersecurity by Cisco scholarship by Ingressive for Good. So I took the scholarship because I'm a very curious person. I follow my curiosity. I let my curiosity lead me, and I also live by the principle of lifelong learning. So I was just constantly learning. So that's why I got into that learning part to become a cybersecurity um, analyst. So I only finished the introductory part before the timeline elapsed because of my existing responsibilities at that time. So after that, during that, the principal I was working with, he was aware I was taking the cybersecurity course. So he told me to research the Nigerian Data Protection Act because it came out that year. So he told me to research it because he saw that okay, I'm someone is really dedicated to learning. I love learning. He told me to do a research on it, how his firm can qualify for it and stuff like that. So I did the research, I presented it to him. That was how I found out about data protection. So I said, okay, since I'm not working for clients, let me write on data protection, data privacy. And I started writing in November, right? I wrote in November, I wrote in December, then I fell sick in December and went for law school in January. So I was sick throughout January. So that was my first um, introduction to data privacy, data protection. Then in law school, I got a scholarship to study data protection, to get the data protection training by Scratch and Scripts in collaboration with ICASA. And it was amazing. I was just, the classes usually coincided with group meetings. So I was just doing the both of them. And I did my assignments. I made sure I did all my assignments and I graduated. I was so happy because it was not like if you it was not a case of as long as you register, you're going to pass. First of all, when applying, they would screen people out. During the course of the study, they also screen us out. And I was so scared. I'm like, oh my god, after joining this thing and I graduated, I was so happy. So that was like my second time with data privacy. So after I finished law school, I said I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to allow the degree determine my life. I'm not going to allow any grade determine my life. I'm just going to start running. So during externship in August, September, after externship when we were waiting for class to resume, I don't know why, I don't know how, but I found someone in AI governance because I wanted to get into the space, into data privacy through research. So I found someone I really admire in data privacy, but somehow she was doing AI governance. So I was like, okay, I'm curious about AI governance. What is it about? So I reached out to her. I would like to be a research assistant. and that was how I found my way into women in AI governance, the women in AI governance community. So that's that. And then I started, um, but then after law school, I was also confused because I had freelancing. I told you I kept it on hold. So I was like, okay, there's freelancing, which will give me money, and then there's data privacy, which I'm new to. So there's no money yet for me. So it was like a struggle. And I finally got to a decision in December, and I said, okay, data privacy. Even though I will not be seeing any money right now, let me just do it because I was following God's leading. I like when Tosin mentioned the God factor because of our journey. So I was following God's leading, and the leading was data privacy. So it wasn't a financially sound decision, but I took it, and I started journaling my learning journey because most of the trainings they are very expensive, and I mean I don't have money. I just left law school, so I searched Google. I would search Google, I would search Twitter, I would search LinkedIn. I would not see any course. So it was like I kept searching and searching, and then it's as if the more I searched, the more they started coming to me. It's like the algorithm know that okay, this girl needs it, this girl doesn't want to give up. So I just kept searching. Every day I would search. Before I know, I just kept seeing different courses. I took AI governance with security. It was very eye opening. I took the privacy ops training with security. I mean, while taking those trainings, I was posting on Twitter. I was not really posting on LinkedIn. The only thing I was posting on LinkedIn was my certifications. Oh, I got certification, this, that. But I was more active on Twitter. And the funny thing is, I was actually sick that period in January too. So I was just showing up, snapping my notes, posting it just once in a while. Sometimes I'll post a little joke here and there about data privacy. For instance, I was wondering how are you going to answer to this data subject request? And then I'm like, oh, automation, yeah. I'm like, oh, thank God. So the fact that everything was just merged together was beautiful. And that was how someone reached out to me in my DM on Twitter. I was like, oh, well done. I've seen the work you're doing. It's admirable. If you're interested in getting an internship, reach out to me. Meanwhile, I had internship as my Q1 goal, and then reached out to me in January. This is what I've been. This is why I've been showing up. This is what I wanted. So that was how I got the internship with Privilex Advisory, and I'll be concluding it this month. And so far, it has been amazing. That internship is like the best thing that ever happened to me. Of course, I was thinking I would get an internship in Q2, but so just perfect. And yeah, I think that's my story. Thank you.
It's
Oh
really
yes,
interesting.
sorry. I must add, before the internship, I reached out to Nana Ezike. I think she was on this call last week. I reached out to her because I knew her from NYC. I knew she was into data protection. So I reached out to her that I would like to learn from her. During law school, I reached out to her during law school that later I'm done with law school, I want to work for you, like just help you with tax and stuff. So she was my first data protection client. She paid me handsomely. And I also posted that as well, like data privacy money is sweet too. And I was just sharing my journey, and that was how I got the internship. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Um, of course, I'm also tempted to to take up a lot of issues that you've raised, but Dayo is back here. Thank you. Dayo, over to you.
But oh, thank you for holding the fort for me. Sincere apologies. They've started again. MTN and Airtel, they started again, but God passed them. I'm back. Well, Rory, I mean, I was listening to your story because I actually joined and I was like, this lady is an absolute catch. Every organization will be lucky to have you. You sincerely know your onions. When you want something, you go for it. People will tell us, even the Bible will say that write the vision and make it plain. You had that vision, you had that goal, and you put yourself out there to achieve it. So that's the same thing we're going to be doing today. We want to put people through. We wanted to tell them how you went about it, what you did, what was the difference that you created, how did you stand out to attract all this opportunity, which will take me to my next question. And the next question will be that, how do you think that lawyers can position themselves in this field, even without a formal experience. You will know that, you will believe with me that most of us, before we got those internship that we had, it's not like we had a formal experience in a particular organization. For example, the first proper internship of cybersecurity I got was from CyberSafe. And CyberSafe Foundation, the way the platform is created is to train people. So I didn't have like an experience per se. But when I saw the application, I put in my application, did all I could, wrote the test, passed, and I was selected. So just like that, some other subsequent internship that I got, like the one you mentioned, Ignite program, by Scratch and Scripts in conjunction with Isaka. I was actually part of it. Yeah, I actually joined the first cohort, but I had to drop out because I had other things that took up my schedule. Then I now joined the second cohort, and the way God will have it, I was even a group leader in the second cohort, and we did excellently well. So all these things, how do you feel people can position themselves to attract these opportunities? Where, for example, I got all this opportunity on LinkedIn. If I wasn't on LinkedIn, I might not have gotten access to this opportunity. Lawyers on themselves on this platform, even without formal experience. I would let BB.
Um, Sorry,
Did
Dio.
anybody get my
I,
question?
No, please. We got it up to you would let
But can you hear me now?
yes.
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. Okay. So my question is that how do lawyers, or how can lawyers and law students position themselves to attract these opportunities that we're talking about, internships, volunteering opportunities, job roles? How do you think lawyers and young lawyers or law students can position themselves for this opportunity? So I want to be
okay. Thank you, Dio, for that question. Well, um, my own distinct story. What if I say I have never participated in any internship on data protection and privacy? So it sounds awkward, or probably to some people, but so for me personally, the route I took was me volunteering for organizations, right? I remember I was trying to meet Mr. Olumide Babalola in 2020. Yeah, he has been doing well, great in the space, and I couldn't connect with him. Okay, I was still tracking him. One day I saw that he needed like two persons to work on a research. I could not connect with him, so I just saw that someone already said, "Oh, I'm interested in the research." I also now commented on that I'm interested in the research. That was the first connection I had with him. And do you know that after then, I couldn't come closely until he launched a master class for data protection. So I could call that. Uh, I don't want to call it internship because we didn't really do internship. So after some times, we were able to now organize a program together with him. That was the first PrifCon in 2023. Now, why am I saying this? I came by the route of volunteering. So everything I did while preparing for the launch into the space were all volunteering role. That was where I also volunteered for Privacy Hub Africa, trying to um, generate news and the likes. So that was what worked for me. And do you know that after that, in fact, my first role in data protection, which I'm still currently in, I got it through someone I met in that in that volunteer group, and it has been from one connection to another. So volunteering works for me. Why I know that internship work for others. If I still have, in fact, I'm still chasing internship today, but not in Nigeria, right? So where internship will work if you don't have access to people one-on-one that you can volunteer for. Like Rory said, imagine you reaching out to someone that, okay, I want to work for you, I want to research, I want to be your research assistant, and that is how you start. So some of us, in fact, the space in Nigeria is not even really wide enough to accommodate apprenticeship, to accommodate internship. We have little law firms that are doing well in this space. A lot of firms write that, okay, they are into data protection and privacy, right? But if I've seen it happen. If you look in depth, they are just scratching it on the surface. In fact, some might not have even done two audits in a year, right? So, but you can look for organizations, basic, like, okay, I'm here, Rory is here, Dio is here. I'm sure there's no how you will reach out to any of these ones that they will not be able to put you through in one way or the other. So volunteering, I saw someone has been working closely with Dio, right? That is volunteerism. You don't need to get a scholarship before you can write to someone. Oh, I want to volunteer for your organization. I do it. I do it. And there's no how you will volunteer for people and you will not get into their heart. And by the time they are getting opportunities, they will be pushing it to you. Let me just stop there for now. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love the way you ended. There is no how you volunteer for people based in their art. I recently shared a post on LinkedIn where I told people that, see, there is nothing you can compare with service. All those voluntary service, it wins people over. And let me just openly appreciate my team, the team working with me to put cybersecurity and privacy playbook out here. I'm not the only one doing it alone. I have like 6 or 7 of them working together with me on this. I sincerely appreciate them. Thank you so much, guys. So there is no how these people have won a place in my heart. There is nothing that will be happening or an opportunity that I feel they are definitely going to be um gaining from that I won't share with them. So volunteer, volunteer. Thank you, Bibi. Bibi's own way is volunteering. Okay, so Miss Tosin, let's hear from you.
All right, so thank you very much. I would say what worked for me is that I think one of the mistakes some of us make, especially for those of us that are trying to transition from a particular background into another, is the fact that we are so quick to throw what we've learned, in the bin, and just yesterday you were a lawyer, then today you are just a cybersecurity analyst, and there's no way you are connecting. It's almost like you don't want to be associated with being a lawyer anymore. You are now a cybersecurity analyst. So for me, what worked for me was that one, I was intentional about the kind of community I have. CyberSafe was very good for me, as a starting point into my cybersecurity journey. And also, I I'm not the social, posting person, but I pay close attention. Like I said, the first opportunity I got to, even intern with CyberSafe, I would never have heard about them. Was just a WhatsApp status. So that speaks to the kind of people that we also follow, right? Whether on LinkedIn, anywhere. It's not just the socialites, people that you are interested in. If you find yourself, okay, this is the area I want to go into privacy. If you go on LinkedIn and you just type privacy or compliance, you would see it will give you jobs, people, organizations, and the rest. Then you can look through that list of people. Some you can decide to just get into their DMs, some send connection requests to them. So, and also, another way we can get into the door while we are transitioning and also getting that role is that you should be true to your story. I remember that even after cyber safe, and I was interviewing for roles. I interviewed in a financial institution, and some other institutions that I was interviewed for. I think my story was really interesting because every time you say, "Oh, I go first with I'm a lawyer," because I feel that is my strength for now, while I am developing, my cybersecurity skills. So I leverage on my strength. I tell my story. I am true to myself. Then I tie it into the value I'm bringing in, even being a professional already. So as lawyers, we have to understand that regardless of, it doesn't have to be cybersecurity, it doesn't have to be privacy. If you're even going into artificial intelligence, be true to your story. The fact that you're a lawyer, it's an added advantage anywhere you get to. Anywhere you get to. Another way that we can work and get into that door. And when you're also trying to put yourself out there, even when you are introducing yourself, on LinkedIn, on areas, you can just write, "Oh, I'm a trained lawyer with strong interest in digital rights, with strong interest in regulatory compliance, but I'm actively transitioning to cybersecurity." So for employers, what comes to their mind is, this is a lawyer. Okay, I think you would be very helpful in this aspect, right? So bringing it home to my current role, let me just tie how that works into. In my team, working with the Asia Pacific region, that's where you have the Philippines, the Cambodia, the rest, all the Asia Pacific. My skill as a lawyer is required in my team, especially when it comes to sniffing out cybersecurity laws in those jurisdictions. Now you look at them, not a purebred cybersecurity professional, someone who is a technical person, cannot really sit down to read these letters. They don't even know what to look for. They can't really be able to interpret it. So in my role, like having that opportunity, that level, everybody comes, "Oh, please, what do you think this law is saying?" That kind of thing. Like, okay, so what are the security strategies that we need to put in place, such that we are not subject to regulatory fines in Philippines, such that we are not subject to regulatory fines in Cambodia, right? Okay, so what is the timeline for complying? What's the timeline for reporting data breach? All of those cybersecurity incidents, who are the organizations. So basically, if I had thrown my law skills at the back, or I never even mentioned it, even in my CV or at any point, nobody would know that, right? And that is a strength. So you even see people from different teams, they will, once they publish whatever, the laws, is always very big. They publish it, people in different, "Please, we need you to help us look at this area. Let us go to Europe, help us." So you can see how relevant, you are able to position yourself in that particular industry. So, like, in addition to volunteering, do not throw your skills away. Be true to your story. And also, while we are waiting to be engaged, whether in volunteering or in internships, you also need to start learning. I remember that before, even after cyber safe too, I went on forage. I took a lot of internships, trying to do phishing simulations, and those are free areas. Like Rory mentioned the other time, when she's interested, trying to search for organizations, algorithms will bring them to you. You will not even need to stress. Even on Google, as you're opening Google, you see something relating to what you just searched. As you are coming to Facebook, as you are going to Twitter. So basically, we need to be able to make use of our devices well, right? And also, YouTube is also there for us to keep learning, such that you are even confident when you have to approach anybody to speak to them. So basically, those are the areas that I feel that how we can effectively position ourselves, to get that to get to that destination that we are going to. Because when we get to that destination, there's also another destination
Yeah.
when we get there. So let me stop here for
Wow.
Rory.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I was just blushing on your behalf. I was blushing on your behalf. I mean, it seems like You are the hot cake in a level right now. Wow, thank you so much for that. I love the way you connected how you're a lawyer. You know, you made it like a strength. It's a strength of yours that you actually showed them. And you made it feel like they can't do anything without you. I love it.
I'm
You're
proud to
learning from
once I
this
get
woman.
any
Oh.
even till now, once I get anywhere, I'm a lawyer and I'm also a cybersecurity analyst. I let you know that. So you know where you can, we can both collaborate. And I think that is what, because I've seen a lot of people,
Wow.
some are teachers, they are not proud of saying, oh, I studied education, right? It's a strength. The fact that you studied education, that means you can explain things, you can simplify even cybersecurity, words, the jargons, you can simplify it and capture the attention of people. So we should be able to leverage more on our strengths, even in interviews. So people are curious. So how did you find yourself? How did you find yourself? And you see, there's interest, and they can see where you can be beneficial while you're also
Wow.
learning from them. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Tosin. Me myself, I'm also learning this. Like hearing you now, I'm inspired. I'm encouraged. I'm not doing something wrong. All right, so Rory, over to you. Rory, can you hear us? Rory, are you there?
Hello?
Um, it seems as if, can anybody hear me? Yeah.
I wonder.
Yes, you're audible.
So Rory, let's hear from you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Looks like Rory is having connection or network issue, but I believe that together with what BB has said and Miss Tosin has said, we've actually gotten the value that we needed. Studying law is not a weakness. That you're a lawyer and you are transitioning into cybersecurity or data privacy, or you are going into that field as a lawyer, it is actually not a weakness, but a strength. But a strength. Let people interpret that law for them. Let them come to you. What do you think about this position of law? What do you think about this document, about this process? So it is not a weakness, it is a strength. Whether you are a lawyer, you are a teacher, transitioning into any area at all, find a way of simulating that area into what you're currently doing. It is definitely going to pay off. It has a way of paying off. All right, so that leads me to the next question, and the next question is going to be on networking, right? You know, most people do not see the reason they should be online, or they don't see reasons to probably attend events or conferences. They don't see reasons to probably, let's say, reaching out to people's DM, reaching into their DM. They don't see reasons to volunteer. Or some people do see reason, but they don't know how to go about it. Although we've discussed the aspect of going about it. Now, how do you connect with professionals on in your own capacity? How do you approach professional? Bibita has given us like a tip, when he connected with Mr. Babalola. So this is an opportunity for you to now tell us straight off, how do you connect with professional, whether people above, people in the same level, or people below? How do you connect? And do you think it is also important to connect, in standing out for opportunities? Bibi, you can go this time.
All right, Dayo, thank you for that question. Yes, someone said your net worth is determined by your network, right? Hmm. So the quality of your life, the quality of things you do is also hinged on the quality of people around you. And that's the reason why networking is also important. But for me, I have a particular, or let me say, I have, how do I put it now? So I have a different way of looking at networking. So let me say, if I go to a particular event, See, when I'm in any event, I'm not looking out to network with everybody. A lot of people are like that, right? You may see me at an event meeting no more than two persons. So first of all, know yourself. Sometimes people don't know, or some people don't know that I'm an introvert. I know myself, I know my strengths. So I might not be able to meet 20 people in an event. But my whole goal is I must catch the big fish, even if it is just only one. So when you're going into any event or where you can network, it might not be event alone, it can also be online. Your goal must be very, very clear. And you don't set goals that you are not able to achieve. I'm looking at one person, I'm interested in just only one person in probably an event, and I go for it. So now, having identified who you are and what exactly you want, how do you now approach? How do you shoot? So, for instance, you are meeting somebody in an event. First thing is try and find a connecting point, right? I think the first time I met Dio was in an event, a closed door event, let me put it. And I met a lot of people that day. I can still tell you that not everybody, I'm not talking to everybody up to today, but me and Dio now, I think since then, we've not had any long disengagement, and it's even getting more stronger. So, first thing is find a connecting point. I'm into data protection. Oh, you're into data protection. Oh, that's great. So, what project are you working on currently? Or is there anything I can do with you? Is there anything I can do for you? Compared to meeting 10 persons at the same time and you are not even striking any balance, you're not even striking any connection. So, having said that, it is one thing to meet people, it is another thing to connect with them. And don't forget that you are not meeting, your intention is not to meet everyone, or you can even meet everyone, but you are sure that you have a specific person you're trying to connect with. I told you about PrivCon in 2023. I only met, I was able to establish contact with two persons. In fact, the first person was the person that organized the event where I met Dio. And we didn't spend, I don't think we even spent 15 minutes talking, right? So, but after that connection, I was able to follow up. And how do I did make that happen? Okay, she said, "Oh, I have this event I'm organizing for a few persons. If you're interested, let me know." I saw it as an opportunity. I was supposed to be in another event that day, but I saw it as an opportunity to connect. You've met the person, but you need to connect. That was how I canceled the previous. I saw a message on LinkedIn on the eve of that event. I needed to cancel already the event I was planning for, and I went to Ikeja for that meeting. Right. So another mistake that one mistake that most people made in trying to network is that you think maybe the day you meet them, that's the day you connect with them. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it works, but let me say over 90% of instances like that will not work. You have to follow up and build. And one thing that a lot of people also don't realize is that when you're trying to connect with someone, especially for someone like me that I'm so sensitive, if you are trying to connect, I I am curious. Why is this person trying to connect? And that's how a lot of people also that we look up to think. So if you don't bring value to them, it might not really be uh, easy to connect with them. In fact, they may see you as a parasite or as a threat, and they just shut you. So let me just retreat and stop here. Know yourself. Know that you are trying to meet to connect, not to just meet randomly and save their contact. And after 2 years, you are trying to reintroduce yourself. It shouldn't be. And to save you that stress, try and connect or try and focus on few persons that are more relevant to you. And when you connect, or when you establish contact with them, follow up, follow up. And one of the best way to follow up is show up in their events, volunteer for them, like do stuff with them, do if engage in activities with them. That's how you can establish that connection. So let me just stop here so that I can allow others. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Know yourself, know what you want. I would always say this: it starts from you yourself. The other people are doing it this way should not make it always applicable to you. You should do it in a way that is applicable and will profit you. So know yourself. Don't focus on crowd. Focus on those ones that are important. Because the truth is, it's not easy to keep relationship. You can have many people. You can have so many people around you, but not one person is close enough to say this person is actually doing this for me in my life. So focus on those people that matters to you, to your own value, to what you seek to achieve. Then follow them assiduously. I would want because she had earlier indicated that she has another engagement. So let's toss and talk briefly before she decides to leave us.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So, um, following up on what BB said already, I think for me, connecting is knowing yourself. I know myself to be someone who I am very, very observant, and most times I'm able to learn from people even right from afar. Right. You might not really see me going into DMs or I want to connect or let's connect, or even when we go for conferences. I'm interested in those conferences. I'm interested in the people that are there, right? And I'm interested in how they are delivering, what they are saying, even beyond what they are saying, right? So basically, I think knowing yourself is truly important and not just following the crowd. Even from your little spaces, your colleagues, if you find yourself in an internship where you are 30, you are 20, you start building your connections from there. Because sometimes you discover that even lasting connections are from people that are within your immediate environment, not people who are far off, right? You learn from them, you see what they post, because obviously people will show you what they want you to see, right? And but beyond them, because I could remember that when I was trying to also still break into this connection, I think the only time I really went into someone's DM was a time when my husband was like, "Ah, he's been seeing this person, post on AI, post on cybersecurity and all, and he feels that, oh, this person has experience. Probably I should just message and ask, oh, how are you doing? How are you going about it to see where I can improve and all." So, all right, I decided to send, oh, I love what you're doing. I've been following you for a while. So I followed the person for like a couple of months. And so what I asked for, because those chats, I'm not really chatty. Oh, is it possible for us to schedule a call if you don't mind? Like, I really want us to, discuss. And the person was so happy. And, fine. When we went into it and all of that, I discovered that, okay, the route in which that person is going is not the route in which I wanted to go. But the fact that person was able to give you audience. So most times identify you can't just keep following everybody because you saw somebody follow this, you follow. So where are you going to? Because most you would see a lot of things on LinkedIn. Once you enter your LinkedIn, you see so many things at every point. Sometimes if you are not careful, you start thinking, oh, is your life progressing? Are you stagnant? What are you doing? you know. So depending on the people you follow, right, you get the quality of what you're looking for per time. Then also your inner circles. I have friends that there's no week. We have one thing that we want to, you know, get from each other, want to rub minds, and the rest. So also, and when opportunities arise, those are the people there. Once I come on LinkedIn and I see one opportunity, I know one or two of my friends I want to send it. Oh yeah, oh, let's do this. So you understand when they see opportunities too, they also, you are the first on their mind because these are people in your immediate. So let us first of all build the foundation of people that we can see, people that are around us. Because don't just think, oh, because I see Dayo now, I'm like, what does Dayo want to offer me? They're not saying, what is it? But you can, you never can tell. The fact that I've gone to I know Dio now. At any point in time, I might say, oh, I know Tosin. I know this. Oh, let me see if she's interested. Let me see if this is this. Rather than you going to someone that you've never met, you just see the person and all. You can learn from them, but most times also let us draw from the strength of people around us. So basically that is my strategy to connecting. Even going for conferences, I look for my friends. Oh, are you interested? Let us go to this conference. We get what we want. If we can connect with one or two persons, basically, that is it. So I am more interested in, tangible,
Thank
long-lasting
you.
connections. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tosin. That was powerful. I love how the speakers are actually, the previous one has said, together what the person is currently saying. So it makes it more realistic and more enjoyable. Thank you so much for that. It still boils down to the fact that know yourself, know what you want. I was just about to call Rory, then she's out again. Oh, network is really showing us again. I really want to hear from her. Rory, are you with us now? Okay. While she's still trying to get back herself on the call, um, I think the next question that we would need to ask us is that how do you think lawyers can build personal branding in cybersecurity and privacy law? How do I start building personal branding in cybersecurity and privacy law? Right? Um, I'm a personal branding advocate. I actually preach it a whole lot. I believe that for every professional, whether you're your brand, you need a personal brand out. They need to know a story with you. They need to know you for story. They need to know you for something that you're doing, your corporate branding work for. It's outside the organizations you've volunteered for. This is something that matters to you, something about you. That's personal branding. What makes Dio distinct from Bibi Tayo? What makes Dio distinct from Oluwatosin? What makes Dio distinct? With which we came or we ventured into this particular field. That is how personal branding is. The way I view things, the way my own story speaks, or the way my own story is being told differs from what other people would say. And that's what personal branding is about. So how do lawyers, young lawyers that are trying to break into this field, how can they start building their personal branding in this field? That's the question. So I would ask Rory to go first. Rory, I don't know if you heard the question. I want you to go first because you've not, the network has been kicking you in and out. So I want you to go first on this question. How do I start building my personal branding? I want to be known for myself on LinkedIn as this. I want to be known on X Space in this light. I want to be known on YouTube in this light. How can lawyers build their personal branding in the cybersecurity and privacy law field?
Please, is that question
So,
directed to
Laurie,
me?
let's hear you.
Okay, I think so.
Yes, yes,
Okay, so the thing with my network is you can hear me smoothly, but I can't really hear you smoothly. I don't know how that is possible. So I think your question was how can people go about building their personal brand? Okay, so I would say you decide on who you, like
yes,
your goal basically. Can you hear me? You can
yes,
hear me. Okay. All right. So you start by asking yourself, what is my goal? Because it is that purpose that would guide you with your personal branding. So the personal branding of someone that wants to get an internship is different from someone that wants to get a job. It's different from someone that wants to get clients. It's also different from someone that is growing a business. So so once you've identified your goal, you would ask yourself, okay, what do I have in hand? What's my resources? What do I have in hand? because you can't start acting like Mr. Davidson Oturu now when you have the budget of an undergraduate, maybe for those that the typical undergraduates. So you need to ask yourself, what is my resources? And for most people, they don't have access to fancy cameras, they don't have access to nice gadgets. So you can say, okay, my resources, these are my resources, and okay, based on what I have, I can start with Twitter. If you have all resources available, you can start with YouTube. YouTube is a great place to start with. So you look at your resources as well. You can also look at the human resources too, because while marketing gurus will tell you that you should create everywhere, that you create content and distribute everywhere, you are one person. The marketing guys are speaking from a point of view, they are speaking to you, so you would see, they'll give you a strategy that will make you identify your lapses. Basically, they'll give you the strategy, you go ahead and execute it, and then you find out that you cannot execute it yourself, so you come and hire them. So that is their strategy. So you have to be realistic with yourself. Don't start feeling bad that okay, I'm not consistent with this thing. Then aside from your gadgets, your financial resources, there's you, your attention. Do I have a full-time job right now, or am I jobless? So there's some people that okay, they currently don't have any jobs, so they can do more. For those that have jobs, they can only do, there's so much they can do. And then I already said it that when January, when I was doing my personal brand, I was sick. So all I was doing was just sharing what I was doing. There was no strategy in place. So for someone just starting out, in the context of today's topic, I'm speaking to a beginner. So to a beginner, I will tell you, just talk about what you are doing, talk about what you are learning, and if you are interested in so many things, like so many things, how can you define, like how can you limit your interest? Identify building capacity in that interest you are currently researching. Focus on that. That's your niche for now. You might have so many interests, but if you are currently working in data privacy, if you are currently looking for opportunities in data privacy and you are researching into data privacy, that is your niche in terms of the content. But if you come up and today you are talking about AI, tomorrow you are talking about IP, next tomorrow you are talking about cybersecurity, to your effort to be scattered, right? So you need to also you need to also define your message. What am I talking about? And then for a newbie, my golden recommendation is build in public. You are not an expert here, like Miss Olatosin said. She said, tell your story, be true with your story. Don't pretend to be an expert. I paid a personal branding coach in January. I paid for a coach, and then she was telling me, pretend till you make it. Talk about how you work with so clients, like analyze different client strategy, this, that. And I was like, this is data privacy. This does not work. It could work in marketing, but not data privacy. And mind you, I have a marketing background. So my goal here is to personally, I just want to see if the things I've been saying in marketing can actually work in law, because law is boring. Do you understand? So I realized that okay, the thing about law is that people are actually eager to mentor you, but they want to see initiative on your part. So the best personal branding you can do is behind the scene. Behind the scene, you are growing, and then once you are doing something behind the scenes, it's easy for you to have something to share. So so a newbie, because I'm not talking to my ogas, people like my ogas, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to those that are working the path with me, or the path I have worked. So start, look for resources, start learning and sharing those things. Don't try to be an expert, because in this industry I realized that you need mentors, and mentors want someone that has taken initiative. They want someone that is quick to learn, adapts fast. So imagine you're an expert, like like they want to even give you job. Some might even go as far as giving you the opportunity, just so they can watch you fall. just so you can watch, so that you learn your lesson. Like you learn your lesson. So you just be in public. That's what I have to say. Make sure you're actually learning, and then once you're learning, it's easier for you to just flow, because that a content marketer will say, oh, this is the strategy, this, that. That's for people that are experts. But for someone that's been in public, you just have things like you can only work around things. For instance, um I have an interest, so I can say, okay, one thing is growth. This is how I'm growing. The other thing is community. This is how I'm helping other people. This is how I'm relating with others in my community. So the final thing is conversion. But when you are just building in public, it's not advisable for you to just go for conversion. But then your conversion might be to get an internship. So you can start saying that, okay, this is what you learned. This you today you solved this problem. Oh, before, but now I know better. So things like that is showing a future employer that, okay, this person can actually deliver on the job and stuff like that. So I think that's just basically it. Make sure you're actually learning, and then it's easier for you to share, because you will face a lot of hurdles on the way. You want to give up, but if you're actually learning, you will not need to bash create content. If you are learning, you will have surplus of content to create. You will not need to bash create. Batch creating content is for experts. They are for experts. So they are just starting out. Make sure you have, yeah, like your personal development calendar is full, and then so that you have surplus to give out. So that the problem will not be, okay, which one should I post? And then of course you can work with AI to help you refine your content. But just make sure you're not faking it and you're just sharing your story, building it public. This is what I'm learning. This is what I've discovered. Don't talk bad about yourself. Don't talk bad about yourself, because nobody wants to attach themselves with negative energy. Another thing I also worked on in January was resisting the urge to participate in um biased conversations. Please, I don't know if you can hear me. Hmm?
We can hear you.
Okay. All right. So one thing you should work on is resisting. Okay, thank you so much. So one thing you can, I don't know if can you hear me. Okay, yes, thank you. So what I also did was, normally I don't even jump into such conversations, but I was very conscious, resisting the urge to jump into biased conversations. Things like sexuality, people's sexuality, don't be heard in those conversations. Religion, if you start religious quarrel, religious um disagreements, don't participate in things like that. Political discourse, don't participate in things like that. So detach yourself from things that will make people biased against you, and just focus on your professional growth. Okay, this is what I want, this is the next phase of my life, my career, and this is what I'll just keep talking about. So resist, don't get angry if anybody gives you a funny opinion. Just, I think that's basically it. I'm just trying to tell my story, and yes, that's basically it. Make sure you're learning, then you share your learning, and stay away from biased conversations. Conversations that will turn heated and make you have an enemy for life that you're not even aware of. Thank you.
Oh, that was a lecture. Thank you so much, Rory. We appreciate that. I believe we've picked one or two from what Rory has said. You have to understand who your audience are. You have to understand what your goal for that particular um, brand is. And the thing about the goal is that the goal can actually change with time. At first, it could be growth, especially based on the context of this particular series. Is for beginners. So your goal should not be, I want to get cybersecurity or data privacy clients. Your goal should be putting yourself out there, letting people know that, oh, I'm this. So your approach will be different, right? Audience, what is your goal? How do you approach, getting or achieving this goal? When she mentioned that thing about a personal branding coach, it's actually good to have one. You can, if you can afford it, you can actually pay someone for it. But please be mindful of who you pay. Be mindful of who you pay. I think to an extent, I can actually recommend people that you can actually reach out to when it comes to personal branding. Be mindful of people you pay. People that will tell you to come and be lying. No, you can't pay them. We are not teaching you how to lie. We are teaching you how to tell your story in your unique way. You know, somebody said something. The person said he was actually following somebody who happens to be his mentor, and he said something that attracted him to that particular person is the fact that this person speaks so well, and when he speaks, you will just be compelled to listen because he's just so eloquent, and you would always want to be under his teaching or his speaking activity. So he said that was why he approached this person. But when the person was going to teach him, the person said, "I'm not going to teach you how to speak like me. I'm not going to teach you how to speak like me. I'm just only going to teach you how to speak your own story. Yeah, I will teach you how to speak. You're not trying to speak like me. Your own story to these people in your unique way." So, really pay a personal branding coach to go about it, but you need to own your story. You need to preach your story. You need to teach your story. That is what you're doing. So, thank you so much, Rory. I will call on Tosin to go on.
Okay, so honestly, I think Rory has said a lot. I think the only thing I just want to add is in when she mentioned that you have to be consistent in whatever it is that you are putting out there as your personal branding, not just jumping here and there. So what I just need to add also is that in staying consistent, you have to also understand, are you someone that you are good with writing? It's not everybody that can do video content, speaking and all, just because everybody is doing that. Um, because you have to be consistent, you have to do something that you can sustain in the long run, right? You might develop over time to be comfortable, doing content creation that you can show up. Probably when you are able to build your team and, maybe do a lot of videos in a day or two. But when you are starting out, be true to yourself. If you have a full-time job, if you know that maybe video content is not going to be realistic, it's not something that you would do consistently. If your strong point is writing, stick to that. So that also shows who you are. Your own might just be storytelling. People are inclined to listen to you based on your storytelling. And at every point when your name pops up, they remember, oh, we need to see how this person is going to turn whatever information they are trying to pass across to us through storytelling. So basically, I think that's what I just had to tie up what Rory has said. Thank you.
Thank you, Tosin. So, maybe Tayo, from you.
All right, thank you. I think you've nailed it, but let me just reiterate a point that resonates with me well. So, someone like me have a lot of things I can do, right? If I want to be known for music, I can be known for music. If I want to be known for motivational speaking, trust trust God's grace. So, but the point is, I'm a lawyer, right? And I'm trying to create a niche in a specific area of law. See, when they are discussing, I there was a time I was writing for human rights, right? When I was working for the NGO, I did research on human rights, I direct programs on human rights. But how I wish I have started data protection at that moment, right? So today, even when I have opinion about issues relating to human rights, you won't see me lending my voice. Because if care is not taken, because you know how to do a lot of things, if care is not taken, you want to write on this, you want to contribute to that, your the attention of people about you will be divided. So the area I just want the point I just want to reiterate on is that, of course, you know how to do a lot of things. You are even a lawyer. You are interested in family law, litigation, different area of law. But if you know that you want to be known for data protection or cyber security or any emerging area of law, know your audience, and know where you're going to popularize that. So there are things I wrote that I don't post them on LinkedIn. There are times I don't even post my activities on LinkedIn on my own WhatsApp status. So sometimes when you see me post data protection on my status, it is because of few persons that I need to reach out to, not because all my audience need to consume it. So what do you want to be known for? Where do you, or where is your target? Those are necessary questions that you need to ask. And then already they spoke about consistency, right? And then please, if it is a name you couch for yourself, that's also very, very important. I use digital law, I use cyber lawyer. Do you know that my boss, before I even broke into data protection, when I was serving in the East, my boss already was calling me the digital lord. So a name couch for yourself can also help. And then putting yourself out there often, just like Mrs. Tosin said, you may not know how to write, or writing might not be your niche. If you can create video content, fine. If you cannot, if you can speak, fine. If you cannot, just find something that will always put your face or out there. Thank you so much. Yes. Can
Thank you,
anyone hear me?
BB.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
May I add the fact that I think most people are overthinking personal branding, and I believe that that's the issue that most people do have. Many of us are overthinking personal branding. Personal branding is not as um, difficult as we think it is, right? When I started out on LinkedIn, if I one of these days, well, something is coming soon, you would get to see it. But when I started out on personal branding, I started on YouTube. I mean, on LinkedIn, and I was even forced. When I created my account, I was forced to create my account. It was because the particular opportunity I was looking for, they said I have to have a LinkedIn account, so I had no choice than to create it. But when I decided to become a creator on LinkedIn, I just at that point in time I was exploring cybersecurity. So I wasn't posting consistently. I wasn't posting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No, I was just posting. I might just post probably twice a week, but what I was posting was based on what I was learning at that point in time. So I would just pick a particular concept that I've learned. If it's possible to relate it with law, I will do that. If it is not, I will not. So at that point in time, whatever you are doing, that's your niche at that point in time. Position yourself in that area. Don't overthink it. And you can choose one platform at once. You don't need to stress yourself, especially if you're studying or you're working. It could be LinkedIn first, it could be Facebook first, it could be YouTube if you like to be in video, it could be Twitter. Just pick one platform and stay with it. Then if you are able to, grow on that platform, you can now expand. So if your schedule just permits one platform, stay with one platform. There is no written rule as to, or there is no written rule as to you have to be in different on different platform at the same time, or you have to be posting every day. No, know what works for you, know what your own consistency is, and still, guys, we're dropping the call now. She has another engagement. Thank you so much, Oluwatosin, for giving us your time. We appreciate you for coming here. I would defer to Bibi Tayo and Rory to continue with the session
Thank
before we
you.
just say a final goodbye. Thank you, Tosi. Thank you so much. I'm so pained that she has to leave, but we don't have choice. All right. Somebody has a question in the chat box. I'll just read it out. I've been trying my best to display the question on the screen, but my net as it's supposed to be. So I'll just read it from here. Is how did you guys walk around the ordeal? Why role data space? Most I don't know. I don't quite get this question, Princess. If there's any possibility for you to rewrite, I would appreciate it. Of the question, she said, "How did you guys walk around the ordeal of work experience?" That, let me just explain the way I understand it. Handling or taking the fact that you do not have a work experience this role, even without experience. Tayo, if you get my question, you can just.
All right, Dayo. I'm not sure if you're still talking. Can I go on now? Okay. So, I think
I don't know. Did you get my
yes,
question?
I'm also looking at the question in the chat box open to me here. So I think I understand where she's coming from. So, um, just to reiterate the question, how do you work around the hurdles of work experience, especially where employer are asking you for experience, especially in data protection, cybersecurity, which are actually new in Africa. Yeah. So when we say it's new area in Africa, I don't still want to agree with that totally. So why I say so? At least GDPR came into being in 2018 in Europe, right? And in Nigeria we have Nigerian Data Protection Regulation in 2019. Um, I think Kenya Data Protection
19.
Act also came into being in 2018. Ghana has their own since about 2012, but it wasn't so active. So, but for Nigeria, Mr. Olumide Babalola has been litigating in that space since about 2018, even before Nigerian GDPR, NDPR came into force. So now, let me say we are exposed to it. We might not have a robust experience, right? So I broke into data protection and privacy fully in 2023. That was when I landed my data protection role. My role then was data protection analyst, and I will tell you how that happened and my experience other with or other colleagues. So yes, I want to believe that the space is not wide enough yet. In fact, uh, if you know what they pay data protection officers of some organizations in Nigeria, you'll be shocked. So just to tell you that we don't really value it yet. So what do I do that is different to land job? I have also come across instances where uh, an employer will be asking for what's LL BSc law for data protection. Does this sound interesting to you? BS BSc law for data protection role. And in my head, and then let me shock you again, 10 years experience. So those are the things that we see in the space. Someone reached out to me recently and I told the person that, see, you cannot get 10 years experience in data protection practice in Nigeria. Should I tell you the truth? Then I have to advise the person. Then we now went for a better option. So now, straight to the question, how I devised the HUD. I was reading. Don't forget, I was learning, and I needed to land a role. Funny how it's not even a data protection officer role. I was trying to. I broke into a consultancy role. So someone will be like, you have not even mastered the data protection role. Then you now want to be a consultant. Okay, but this is what worked for me. While I was reading, I was also trying to look at opportunities out there. What are they looking for? So one of the things that I realized that most employers are looking out for, even as a data protection officer or you working for a consultant, they want to see your understanding of data protection laws. They want to see your understanding of the principles. And I will tell you that I had never worked on any project before I joined my firm. And one of the things that gave me advantage when I went for that interview was the things I've learned and my imagination of how those things can work in practice. Okay, the only practical, let me say, the only practical experience I had then was when I was in Unilag for that course. I had to join a group where we worked on privacy policy for a particular fintech. We just imagine that we're working for a financial institution, and my group created a policy, data protection policy for that organization. It was just something we did within ourselves. Nobody is even an expert at that point. So I saved that. Then, okay, before then, I built my website myself from the scratch, and I used to see on people's website privacy policy, privacy notice, and I went through it. Then I developed one for myself. Those are the only experience I knew or I had by that moment. So when I now went for interview and they were asking me, so what have you done? I came out plain, just like Ms. Oluwatosin said earlier. I didn't hide it. I have never done this, but I knew that. I think this is one of the things I used to kill that interview. I knew that, okay, for every product that you are releasing in your organization, for every new service, you have to conduct data protection impact assessment. And up to today, this is one of the areas that privacy professionals find so difficult. I have never done it. And I told them that, okay, so assuming we are launching a project that is going to address, let's say, northern Nigeria, and is going to entails collection of data, it's going to involve processing that will be risky to their right. But I've never done it. But the way I said it, it was as if I have worked on a project. So, and that's one of the things that actually helped me to land that role. Another thing, I was talking about their CCTV um, cameras. That, okay, so if you have deployed CCTV in your organization, then there's supposed to be a CCTV notice. But I have never worked in any practical project. I remember I even reached out to someone that I knew in the space that, oh, please, if you have any project, can you just carry me along? The response I was getting suggested to me that this person self was not really working on any project, but it's all over there writing about data privacy and protection. So now I just spoke about what works for me, and I'm sure it's going to work for a lot of people. Understand data protection and privacy. Understand it first. So if you understand it first, if you get to interview room, you trust me, I've witnessed this over and over. During interview session, you can determine how the interview session will go by the answer you are going to provide. I just spoke to you about instance where I mentioned the issue of DPIA and CCTV notice, and that changed the course of that interview. You will, if you know it, if you have the knowledge, you'll be able to even tell your panel what probably they are not doing well, or something you notice about their process. Probably their website, they've deployed cookies and there's no cookies notice. You can bring it up. People are interested in solution you can provide. So I hope I've been able to answer the question. Let me just reiterate: knowledge is very important, and how you carry yourself, how you um, put out your knowledge, how you put it out is also very important. Forget about the number of years of experience. HR will even put 15 years of experience for you in Nigeria as a data protection analyst, but all those things might not really count. knowledge is very, very important, and how you are able to communicate your knowledge. Thank you. Oh, I'm not sure if
Thank
that.
you so much, BB. Thank you so much. Um, you've answered the question, and I don't know if there's any other question to be answered. But if anybody has any other question, please drop it in the comment section. So, talking about the question, to give you an answer, uh, I've seen the first internship I did at Cybersecurity Foundation group, where people come to still study together. We are trained for some other things. Now, in this same group, remember, we all started this training at the same time. Now, in the same group, we have had people that cybersecurity is still their first interface with cybersecurity, and after Cybersecurity Foundation, they've gotten real life jobs, real life opportunity, real life role. They will tell you, I did this interview with this company abroad and I got this job, I got this role. These people don't have experience, they don't have 3 years experience. But that period at their various internship, that is enough experience to put in your CV. You don't need to wait till you have an actual or proper role. Oh, I'm a data protection officer in Data Pro Limited. Those real life internship that you're doing in those places, Black, blah blah blah, those are experiences that you can still account for as years of experience. You don't need to have been functioning in a particular role. Don't wait till that level or till that time. As long as That's why last week we focused on knowledge, skill, even before certification. Now, these people were able to land real proper jobs because they had that knowledge, they had that skill. It was in their CV, Cybersecurity Foundation. They put out the labs they created, they put out all the skills they acquired. And when they were before the panelists interviewing them, they were able to defend everything they wrote without a proper 2-year job experience at a firm or a data protection organization. So the key thing is focus on skill, focus on knowledge, focus on skill, focus on knowledge. Seek out this internship, get yourself into one proper internship. All those things that we do there, they are things that you would also put in your CV. For example, Cyberlac, I would mention Cyberlac because I'm going to be ending my internship with them very soon. In Cyberlac, it's not like they will give us actual real life scenario, probably a real life company. No, they gave us task that we would actually find in real life instances, and they will tell us to picture a particular company that we are modeling after. Maybe you are modeling after a very popular company. Just put that company in mind and have a model company for it, like a dummy company representing that company, and they'll give us real life scenario to treat. Yes, they are not real life issues, they are not real life complaints, but the questions or the tasks that we are working on, they are real life scenarios. So when I'm going to put it in my CV, I want to put it as if I've done it for a real life company, because they are real life scenarios. And as long as you can defend all these things before any panelist or before anybody, then you are fit. So if that internship is 6 months, if it is 3 months, compile them in your CV. You want 2 years experience? Okay, I've started cybersecurity training since 2023, so I have 2 years experience. That's what you want. So don't wait for an actual cybersecurity role job. Oh, I'm a cybersecurity analyst in this firm. And if you are a cybersecurity intern, it is a role. You have experience in that role. If you're a data protection intern, you have experience in that role. So if you are going for a proper interview for an actual role, that is what you're going to show them. So as long as you can defend what you know, like I said, all these people got the job because they were able to defend what they knew. So as long as you're able to defend what you know, you are good to go. Forget, yeah, some people are strict on experience that have eyes for good talent. They are not strict on experience. I've seen organization bench their requirements because that candidate, they know that this person is talented, this person is good. So don't let work experience be the limitation to applying to these roles or to this position. Give your best shots. As long as you know what you're doing, you have the necessary skill, you have the necessary knowledge. Give your shots. And I would add that for a better understanding, or for you to land all these roles, there's something that I've learned over time. You should take time to sit down. The role that you are actually aspiring to be in, go on LinkedIn, go on all those job sites. What are the requirements that these people have written in their role? What are the requirements that they want? What are the job description? Now, when you finish reading it, ask yourself this question: can I do this? If they ask me, can I answer this question? Do I know this? So if you know you don't know it, go and study about it. For example, if I'm looking for a role as a GRC analyst, I would go and look for job opening or offers that are on LinkedIn or whatever platform. Then I'll look at the requirements. Oh, they want somebody who is vast in GDPR, in NIST cybersecurity framework, in ISO 27001, in PCI DSS. I will look at all those requirements and I'll go and brush my knowledge on it. As a matter of fact, one of the cybersecurity professionals that I follow, she did this thing last year. She said she had checked through 100 GRC professional position, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. And she now said these are the skills that I've seen, common skills that they are requesting for. She listed them out. And since that day, I've been doing that same thing. I'll go and look for the skills or the requirements of those roles, and I'll go and brush myself up on them. So now tell me, if you're able to give them questions and answers on all these things, tell me why they will not employ you and they'll be waiting for 10 years experience person. So don't let work experience be your limitation. Be focused, acquire skills, acquire knowledge, and you'll be good. So that will be that on that question. I believe that we have answered. I don't know if any other person has a question. Let me check so that we would answer that before we say our final goodbye. We've gone behind more than our schedule. Okay. So somebody said, please, I have a question. I've noticed that the panelists have been using data protection officer or data privacy. Well, I don't know what the question is that Vivian is asking, but I don't know what the question is. But yeah, data protection or data privacy. Do you have an answer, Bibitayo?
Dyer, if I may speak to that, yes. Okay, so
All
the
right.
person is trying to ask that GRC analyst is it that we've been using data protection officer, data privacy. Just wondering if that role is quite different from GRC. Okay, let me say a few things about that. GRC basically means governance, risk, and compliance. If you look at my role is regulatory compliance analyst. So sometimes you see nomenclature can be funny, especially in these new areas, emerging areas of law and technology. So most times I don't even call myself data protection analyst because I do beyond data protection, right? So I just prefer, because I work in line of regulatory compliance, compliance with data protection, and in data protection there is information security, so a bit of cyber security. So now both data protection, um, please can you hear me? Okay, so data protection,
Yes, we
cyber
can.
security, they are, let me say, subset of GRC. GRC is a broader perspective which comprise of governance, risk, and compliance, right? In governance, we have data governance, right? Risk, what we do in data protection, when we do data protection impact assessment, we are also working around risk. We are also, one of the skill is risk management. So we're also trying to help organizations to comply. You now see that everything we do in data protection and cyber security, they are all subsect of GRC. So someone can be uh, called into the role of GRC analyst. And when you get there, in fact, most people have seen that even call themselves GRC analyst. They are focusing on cybersecurity compliance. Most people have seen in GRC, they are focusing on cybersecurity compliance. And you even now be wondering, where is data protection? So GRC is just a general name that most people use interchangeably with cybersecurity analyst. I hope that clarifies it.
All right, thank you, Bibi Tayo. Speaking on that same question, right? Um, when they say GRC, you would actually find governance, risk, and compliance in almost every industry, not just in cybersecurity, right? You find governance, risk, and compliance in maritime. You find it um, in fintech. You find it in whatever area of technology that you know, or even in law itself, right? So for cybersecurity, we also have people that are focused on GRC. During my training at CyberSafe Foundation, my career path was governance, risk, and compliance. But remember, it is in cybersecurity. And don't forget, I said that GRC is in every industry. Because in every industry, we are definitely going to be talking about governance in that industry. We are going to talk about risk in that industry. We are going to talk about compliance in that industry. There is no industry that will not face risk. That's why we have the SMART. They will tell us what is the mitigation steps. So every industry have risk that they face. That is why there is the risk part of GRC. Every industry needs governance. And in the governance aspect, we are talking about policy creation, guidelines creation. Those are what we are talking about in governance aspect. So every industry needs governance. And when it comes to compliance, these people are focused on how this industry, organizations in this industry are complying to those standards, to those regulations, to those laws that people in governance are focused on. So all this is under one umbrella, GRC. We will talk about governance, we'll talk about risk, we'll talk about compliance. So I hope you understand it. So GRC is not only limited to cybersecurity. You have it in every other industry. I don't know if Rory has something to say about that. Rory, can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. So basically, that's what you should know about GRC. We have it in cybersecurity, we have it in other industry. Because when we talk about governance, we talk about governance in every industry. We talk about risk in every industry. We talk about compliance in every industry. So that's the answer to the question. At this point, I will just want our speaker to give their final words in 1 minute each. What do you have for these people? How do you encourage them to go for what they want? Bibi.
All right, thank you, Dio. Um, Let me appreciate everyone that has also been listening attentively since we started. So, one thing I just want to mention, or let me say, retreat in all my discussion so far, is that know yourself, know what you want, and start working towards it. You cannot do everything, and yes, you cannot do everything at the same time. So the ones that you know that is so important to you. For instance, I have interest in cybersecurity, data protection, IP, Web3. Which one do you see as your strength? And then start working towards it. Start taking internship, attending seminars, attending events, so that you can have a robust, or let me say comprehensive experience in that area. So when you venture into it, like I'm doing data protection today, I'm still doing a bit of AI governance, AI ethics, IP, but you won't see me talking about them. I'm still trying to create a very, very strong and solid foundation in data protection. So you can have a lot of things you want to do, but make sure you have a particular one that you are focusing at this moment. Do internship, volunteer in that area, support people in that area so that you can gather enough experience before you now start launching into other areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bibi. Rory, your final words to our audience.
I would just
Yeah.
have to add that while carrying out the yes, so while carrying out stability's advice of going, showing up in conferences, and remember his previous advice of networking with at least one person, being value oriented, make sure you share about it. It will always be cringe. It will always be cringe, and just embrace the cringe. Honestly, embrace it. Don't be scared of the crickets. Just share your story, and over time you look back and be grateful you embrace the cringe. So just keep sharing. If you are skeptical about what to share, what not to share, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would answer your questions. Yeah, and then in terms of disclosing about your interactions with elderly people or reputable people, do not disclose their names. You can just give a vague description of who they are, just to keep respect their privacy and respect them, so you don't pass across as a cloud chaser. You understand? But even though it's important for you to share your wins, it's also important that you don't come across as a cloud chaser. So just embrace the cringe and show up every day. Thank you. I think that is not here.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you,
so
Rory, for
I
that.
think another thing that also helped me was, yeah, maybe I think I'm just continue to she's back. Another thing that helps me is community. Have a community of people that hold you accountable. I'm someone that I don't like being on social media. I know it's hard to believe, but I don't like being on social media. When I was freelancing, I was not really building my brand. So sometimes I could go off social media for like 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. I'll just go off. I don't like, but I created an accountability community in December, and we have to show up. Like you have to post at least 3 times a week, and now we have to post at least every Monday, Wednesday. We have to post every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So even if you don't feel like it, you have to post. So that's also helping me as well. So yeah, leverage community, get people that are interested in doing this thing with you, and be accountable. Thank you. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Rory. Thank you. Leverage community. If you were here last week, we actually dealt with that a whole lot of time. So, thank you so much for your final word. Leverage community. Know what you want, know your approach, and please be real, be authentic. Be real, be authentic. Don't try to form like some other people. You can't. Don't think you okay, you admire Dio, you want to start positioning yourself like Dio. No, our stories are different, our levels are different. Don't think, oh, because you admire Rory, you want to start positioning yourself like Rory. No. Know yourself. Don't lose yourself in the midst of trying to be like somebody. Be yourself. So, as far as how to stand out for opportunity is concerned, I want to believe that our speakers have done absolute justice to this question. Their DMs are always opened for your questions. And like I said last week, if you know that you are not really ready, I know you might, that's adrenaline. The rush is there, right? But at some point you just find out that you are just drained of that enthusiasm. If you are that kind of person, please go and work on it first before you approach the speakers. They have a lot on their table, but they are available to listen and give you hands if you are ready to start your journey. So please feel free to reach out to them, connect with them on LinkedIn, follow them on their social medias, support them so they can support you. Remember what Bibi Tayo said? He said, when you volunteer, voluntary service will definitely put you in their heart or in their mind. So know that and know peace. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We
Thank
appreciate you for waiting us and staying with us till this very time. And I would say, have a good night rest. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. And don't forget to share your chicken and your rice with other people. Take care of yourself. Bye.